Hello, today I want to present the command line tool for CSVOL. Now, please don't get this confused with the read, evaluate, print loop environment, also known as the REPL environment. That's existed in CSVOL since CSVOL 0. The CSVOL command line tool is a tool newly present in CSVOL 21, where CSVOL programmers can do what I like to call ready-to-run CSVOL programs in any directory on your computer. Back in the days of CSVOL 0, programmers were forced to program in the same directory as the CSVOL interpreter source files. While this doesn't seem like much of a problem at first, please realize that you would have had to write all of your programs there, and I mean all of them. The interpreter would not be able to read any CSVOL programs that are outside of its directory, or even within another subdirectory of the interpreter's directory. This really just forced CSVOL programmers to have to cope with an enforced style of a really disorganized but enforced style of programming. Now, going back to the phrase of ready to run, CSVOL programmers now can use the CSVOL command line tool in any directory to ready up their module files, also known as CSVOL, like subroutines, really. Then run their CSVOL main driver file. Now, one prerequisite for the CSVOL command line tool to work is that you must put the path to the CSVOL source files in your system's environment variables, just as you would for many other languages like Python or Java. Like, let's just try out Python, and then you can pull up the well, in this case, this is a REPL where you can actually code in there, which we'll get back into later today. And then you can Control Z to exit, yeah. And then also, just as you would for Java, and then you would use Java C to actually compile your Java code. But nonetheless, this is pretty much the command line tool for CSVOL that pretty much emulates what many of the other languages have. So let's try out this tool. Now, if we were to type in CSVOL into the terminal, then you would just get a simple missing arguments message where you have to type in help to learn more. And then we so far only have 3 flags that are available in CSVOL. One is, of course, the help command, or the help argument rather, or flag, and it really just prints out this message. And then we have ready, then run. And again, this goes back to what I say about ready, then run, or ready to run, where first you have to ready up all of your subroutines, not your main driver file, but then over here on the run argument, or the run flag, then you put in the argument either main REPL or the main file that is in any other directory. Now, we can talk about main and REPL a bit later, but first let's talk about where you can pretty much call and run a main file anywhere else in a computer. So if we were to create 2 new text files, one of them will be named, I guess, test.main.csvol, and then rename this one as the same project name, then the subroutine name or the module name as, I guess, sub, doesn't really matter. Then we get into the extension name .csvol. Now, in the main file, what we're going to do, actually before that, what we can do is go into the subroutine file and then just type in print, I guess text, hello world, and then full main to go back to the main file. And this is really standard stuff that's really existed since CSVOL 0, but then over here we just go into you know, I actually forgot my own language's syntax. Now, this is the beauty of it, of having this command line tool. Now, instead of having to go into the documentation, what you can do is go into CSVOL, run REPL to run the REPL environment, and then type in help to get a long list of commands of pretty much how you're supposed to code basic simple queries. Now, what I need to look at is try to find how to pull another subroutine. And now I know that the starting command is pull, so we go to pull, and it's all in alphabetical order. So if we go to pull, then the option is module, and we just go to the module name. Okay, that's perfect. Now we can just drop out the REPL. So yeah, pretty much there, we just tested out how to use the run flag, a bit of the run flag, which in this case is the REPL flag. This is actually unintended, but yeah, so we talked about the REPL one before we talked about the file one, but that's all cool. Now, if we go back into here, then we can just do pull module, and then the name of that module is test.sub, and then we don't need to put the extension there. And then what should happen is that we first get the print statement of hello world that's in the sub statement or sub file, and then print goodbye. Okay, so now if we were to run just CSVOL run, and then the main file over here, the main project file, then there's two little errors that we have. First of all, we're not in the correct directory. We're not on the desktop directory. Second of all, we need to first ready up the subroutine file before we ready up the main file. So what we can do is cd desktop, and then CSVOL ready test.sub.CSVOL, and again, we don't run it because this is just a subroutine. But then if we want to run an actual main driver file, then we do run test.main, because again, that's our main driver file, and then CSVOL, and then if we run it, then what we should get is hello, so there's a little typo, it's hello world. That's something we could fix, but hello world, and then goodbye. And of course this clearly works because we're pulling the module test.sub, then we go to test.sub CSVOL, and we get hello world, and then we go back to the main file, and then we go to print text goodbye, which over here is pretty much correct. So that's all good, except for the typo. But nonetheless, we can pretty much, again, going back to CSVOL help, seeing our commands, we first have to ready our modules, or also known as our subroutines, and then we run our main driver file. Or what we can do is that there's a little other option that you can have where you run main, but that's really running the main.CSVOL file that's in your CSVOL interpreter files. Most of the time you won't ever have to be doing that, but if you wanted to, you can do that. Then the next option is REPL. We already tested that out just so that we can really just see the help commands, but you could really code all of your stuff in the terminal, kind of like you would for Python, where you can do print 1 + 1 = 2, so you can Control-C or Control-Z, enter. Yeah, so you can code in the terminal. You can do the exact same thing with CSVOL command line tool, except you have to put in more typing effort rather. Here you can just write in Python. Here you have to do CSVOL, put in the flag of run, then go to REPL. But nonetheless, you can do that, and then you can also run whatever main driver file. Now, thank you for watching. This is the CSVOL command line tool.